And we're live.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Queen's Landing. This is our All Girls Game of Thrones post show, and we're going to talk about episode 7, The Broken Man. We got a lot to talk about, and tonight it's just me and Gabby. It is me, Melissa. Yay! And let's jump right into it. So we start out this episode with a cold opening. There's no opening theme. I don't think they've done that in a really long time, and I think it was to kind of add the shock to surprise, surprise, who's back? Spoiler warning. The Hound!
Yeah, I know. I was even shocked too when it was just a cold opening and I was like, where's the theme? I always used to the HBO, like the fizzies, and then, you know? So it was just like, okay, I'm like, what's going on? Like, I was actually prepared for something bigger. Um, so
Something
I
bigger?
thought, yeah, like a bigger reveal or bigger something. Because I was part of the party of people who thought that the Hound was still alive and kicking somewhere. I wasn't really sure what
Mhm.
exactly he was up to, but I was kind of positive he was alive.
I
And
thought he was dead.
really, I thought he was alive because
Only because, again, this is Game of Thrones and people who die usually die, but this season is proving that to be completely wrong. Because this is like the third person who we thought was dead is actually like, hello, we're back. Um, but then again, when I saw him, I was kind of surprised, but not only because there's so many fan theories out there and we keep hearing that we're going to have a Clegane Bowl that I was like, oh, well, this makes sense.
yeah. Well, yeah. So I wasn't surprised that he was alive, but I was surprised that they brought him back now. I don't know how he's gonna fit into the story though, because his right now it's just we understand that he was with this group of people, hippie Westeros people,
Yeah.
and now he's I guess after the bloodshed, he's gonna move on, get revenge on whoever did him wrong, which is a lot of people.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty much a one-man army. Where's he gonna go? I was kind of hoping that maybe Arya and the Hound would kind of join up again because she's trying to go back to Westeros. So maybe that could happen since we're seeing a lot of reunions this season. That could happen, maybe. I don't know.
I think so. That kind of instantly came to my mind that I was wondering like, oh, are they gonna fast track Arya leaving Bravos and running into him, or was he gonna or if the scene with him was like actually more of like a flashback, and that he was already in Bravos and he was like gonna save her last minute from the wave. I had that in my head the whole time, but in the end, I guess everything's in real time.
Yeah. I mean, I'll I'll get to the Wake and Arya later on. I have some things to say
Yeah,
about that.
I think we all
Okay.
do.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So then we go on to the other part of the world in King's Landing, where Cersei is in a corner and nobody tells it like it is without any fear, like Lady Olenna, the Queen of Thorns herself. I loved her this episode, and I loved what she had to say to Cersei, because everything she said is true. Like, you lost your son, you've put these people into power, this is all your fault. And then Cersei's kind of like, yeah, I know.
It was a great takedown of Cersei's character.
Yeah.
And deserving, and it was just like, oh yes, like she finally
Yes.
said. I mean, I think because Cersei always knew it was a bad decision, and she has her regrets. But I think Olenna really made her realize, okay, like, yeah, I understand you're admitting it's a mistake, but it really is this bad. This is what you did. And I think you saw it in her face, like she finally got it, like, yeah, I did all this. So,
I
uh,
know. Yeah. And I think she's banking a lot on this trial by combat, because Cersei still seems kind of confident that she can still kind of maneuver past these high sparrows. So she's banking a lot on the mountain. So I'm looking forward to that fight. There's so many fights to look forward to this season.
right. And we keep thinking they're gonna happen in like the next episode, and they
I
don't.
know they don't. I
Yeah,
don't.
Yeah, like I saw your tweet, like, oh, which bowl are we gonna have? And I'm thinking, I'm thinking maybe all of them, right? But no, we didn't. This was like, but yeah, I think we're really setting up for some big matches, and I agree with you that Cersei seems really too confident for her own good. Whatever.
Yes, and as we've seen in Game of Thrones, your arrogance is your downfall in this world. So maybe we'll see the end of Cersei this season. I'm praying so. And then we also see Queen Marjorie, who's back in her gowns and no more life in the cell, and her little crown is on. And I feel like obviously she is playing a long game, right? Because I still see some debate, people thinking she's really brainwashed. She's not brainwashed, but she passed that little note of the rose to her grandmother, which I perceived as, don't worry, I'm still here, it's still me, I'm still a Tyrell, these people haven't really gotten to me yet. So she's playing a long game here, and I'm wondering what is her next step in this.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I think this episode proved that Marjorie has a plan. She's not brainwashed, especially, with that talk and that, little note she gave to her grandmother. But I don't know what it is. Like, I have no idea how to beat this guy, this High Sparrow dude. I mean, he just seems like to have infiltrated King's Landing so fully. But I trust that Marjorie is smart. I think she's a lot smarter than Cersei. And I'm really excited to see how she takes this guy down, because I know she's not doing it for anyone else but her brother. I mean, I feel like that's her motivator.
Yeah, I mean, and then maybe for Marjorie, her next plan is to kind of is take Cersei out of the equation too. So maybe she'll kind of have Tommen kind of convince his mom to maybe leave, or maybe she'll die during the trial by combat. Who knows? I don't know. But I think for Marjorie, her plans is also to take Cersei out of the equation. And then maybe after that, the High Sparrows, so that she could really, truly be the one who's really ruling King's Landing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that seems like definitely her end game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure. Okay, so we'll go ahead and go on to the wall where we see Jon and Sansa trying to convince the wildlings to fight for the North. And they seem kind of apprehensive about it, which kind of surprised me. I was thinking, well, kind of died for you. He wasn't supposed to do that. He went against his vows as a brother of the Night's Watch, and he stood up for you guys and was willing to put all the hatred aside because he sees that everybody has a common goal because the dead are coming. So, but in the end, they turned it around and they were down to fight with Jon and Sansa, which, thank goodness. They need a lot of people.
Yeah, I thought that those series of scenes were interesting, and probably like my favorite part of this episode, just kind of getting to know these different houses in the North, the ones that we haven't really visited.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was just kind of interesting to see kind of the political state of each one and kind of their feelings towards the Starks. And I really liked how awkward Jon Snow felt. He was just kind of like, he totally did not look like he was comfortable. But my favorite scene was with Lady Mormont, she is.
I know.
She is a little firecracker.
She is. I want to be her when I grow up.
I know, right?
I love when one of the guys that she was sitting next to was leaning in to say something there, and she was just like.
Yeah, I know. She was just like.
I got this. She's like 10.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to worry about those two fools like trying to manipulate her because she's the boss.
Definitely.
But yeah, she was great, and
that was probably the best part for me personally, because that was a breath of fresh air. She was commanding that room.
Right. I think it was just it's totally one of those things that you would not expect to see in Game of Thrones. A little girl, totally. I mean, we see it with Arya, but not like that. Not where like someone is just so in command of a room and of a
but
house.
She's the one who's running her house. She's lady of that whole Bear Island, so she really has to step it up.
Yeah, and she totally does.
And I love how she's confident that even though she only has 62 men to give, she's pretty much like, yeah, but those 62 men are fucking awesome. So
yeah, I know. She's just like, I'm not being cheap. Like, this is generous. Like, you're getting a good. That girl is great. Like, oh my god, I hope we get more of her.
No, I know. I hope we see more of her. She's awesome. And then they head over to House Glover, I believe, the Sigil of the Fist. And they are not being too kind to them. They're not forgiving, I guess, Robb Stark for not helping them out when they were being taken over by the Ironborn, which I feel like that's stupid. The past is the past. You all have a common goal. If what's his name? Sorry, Bolton stays in power, you're all in trouble. I think that was a grave mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see, like, it's mostly that the Glover, the guy who runs the Glover house, I don't know, I forgot what his name is, but it's very personal for him, and he's letting these personal feelings, you know, get in the way of what's the right move for his house, for his people, and, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, obviously we're on, you know, Jon and Sansa's side. Like, you know, we need to unite. We need to fight the White Walkers. Because we're all gonna be dead.
Exactly.
I'm just like, I mean, I don't know what they want. There's like, no, we're gonna hate each other, and then we'll let each other die and become.
And then we just all die in the end.
Yeah. What happens if Game of Thrones actually ends that way?
But they all die by the zombies?
Yeah. It was just like, we tried. And, I mean, you know what? Wouldn't be that surprising. Because...
I mean, for the series end, I don't see, like, a perfectly happy ending anyway. Because it is Game of Thrones, as I always say every week. It is Game of Thrones. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. They piss us off. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much in a nutshell, yeah.
Yep. And then we head over to Riverrun, where the Blackfish is holding it down at the Castle Tully. I loved in this episode, even though it was kind of a short scene. That actor is he's so good because he was kind of smuggish, but I mean, it's because he knows that, like, come on, man, you're not gonna take over my castle. I loved him.
Yeah, I know. He was just like, I'm not having this shit. Like, especially when they had Edmure like out there, like, oh, we're gonna kill him, and he's just like, okay,
kill him.
You go ahead. I was just like,
yes,
so bad for him.
I know. I love that he was standing his ground. It's bad luck to the nephew, but even he said it, like, he'll be dead either way. So
yeah,
why would I? And I loved his mini showdown with the Kingslayer, Jaime Lannister, when he was like, I'm disappointed. Like, you ain't shit. I love that too.
Yeah, me too. And when Jaime too got like a smackdown by some of the another older character in Game of Thrones that you kind of like, you know, you disappoint me now that I see you. And I think it's just like, it says so much about Cersei and Jaime and how they've let themselves ruin each other pretty much. Well, Cersei always had issues. I think Jaime has a lot of redemptive qualities that get totally smothered by Cersei.
Yes, because that's the only way that I like him is when he's not around his sister.
Yeah, pretty much. And the only reason he's there is because the sister told him to.
Exactly.
So it's
and we didn't get a Brienne and Jaime reunion this week, but we'll get it next week. So we'll see what happens there.
I'm excited for that. I was bummed that we didn't get it, but I mean, I
know
there was so much going on, though. I was like, yeah, okay, we can wait till next week, since it seems it's going to really go deep into that.
Into that reunion.
Yeah.
I wonder what he's gonna do, because he did make a vow to protect the Stark girls as well, but then Brienne is there on behalf of Sansa Stark, so
yeah,
we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
And then we go over to, I think we're in the East now with the Ironborn siblings, Yara and Theon. And Yara's down to have a good time before she has to go rage a war. She's there with her lady friend, making out, drinking, and she wants her brother to just take a seat and get laid and drink some ale, but he is still so traumatized. I think he's doing a really good job in the show's doing a really good job in not just glossing over his PTSD, because he can't just even though he's gone from Ramsay's claws now, he's still kind of not himself all the way. So that's a really good job on their part.
Yeah, and I really liked Yara's like speech to him, because it's like her gentle way of giving him like a kick in the ass, saying, okay, like, listen, are you gonna let yourself dwell into your pain, or are you gonna, live and come with me, and we're gonna go and meet that dragon queen and take over? So I definitely think I think she's a good sister in that regard, and she knows that.
Yeah,
that
she's redeeming herself with me, because I always felt like she didn't really try to rescue her brother.
Yeah.
So I like that she's trying to talk him back to being Theon and not have any kind of weak left in him. So I like that part.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I think we covered every scene. That was fast.
Well,
is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah. Who is Sansa writing to at the end of that episode?
Oh, I think it's Littlefinger.
Yeah, me too. I think she saw like...
Yeah, because she's not confident that they have enough people to fight for Winterfell. So, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it is probably the right thing to do, because he has the Knights of the Vale.
Yeah.
But the other side of me is thinking he cannot be trusted.
Right.
So I'm kind of conflicted about it. They need more men, but this Littlefinger is very dangerous, so I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel like it puts herself in a position where she's going to get manipulated by him once again. But I see.
Exactly.
But I mean, she's made so much progress as a character, and she's very strong-willed now, that I hope she's smart around him. But I think she also needs to be honest with Jon.
With her brother.
Yeah, yes. About it. Because if you're keeping it to yourself, then I think that's gonna ultimately mess it up.
That makes it shadier.
Yeah.
Why aren't you being honest with them? Just let him know, like, oh, this dude, he killed our aunt, but he has an army.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go. Exactly.
Yeah, like, so that they could both keep an eye on him and make sure that, okay, he's not going to slip something by them and then, mess things up.
I have to move location. My computer's going to die. I'm sorry about this.
Oh, okay, it's fine. It's life.
Yeah. Battery is going to die. Oh, look. My Game of Thrones shirt.
Yay. I'm being a traitor and wearing an Outlander shirt.
Well, it kind of fits, because we saw Blackjack Randall in this episode for like 2 seconds.
Right, we did. So there you go, crossover fandoms.
I'm sorry, viewers. Give me like 2 seconds. I'm so sorry about this, Gabby. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure thing. Hello, YouTube. How are you today? Well, we have this little break. Melissa said something up.
Alrighty. So then we had Sansa writing to Littlefinger, probably. And, we're going to talk about the waif and Arya. Hello.
Oh, yeah. That's important.
Okay, so did you not think it was kind of foolish of Arya, I love her, to be walking out and about when she knows that these people are faceless, they could change their faces, they could be anyone?
Yeah, she looked too casual out there. Like, okay, walking down the street, gonna get my ride. And then she was like, once I saw that old woman, I'm like, uh-oh, there she is. And then Arya's like, oh. And I'm like, oh. You know what, though? I was like, because I think we were all ready for a big battle between them.
I know.
And then just to see her stab her, I was just like, they are not doing this to
I know.
me.
For a second, I thought, like, is she gonna die? She better not die.
I know. I'm like, I might actually cry. Like, you can't do this.
You can't kill Arya Stark. Not just yet.
Yeah. No. I mean, oh my God, what a waste that would be.
Seriously.
I mean, really. So, like, yeah, but, I mean, I was just like, when she fell in the water, I'm like, if this episode ends here, I'm gonna flip out.
Yeah.
But then we see her climbing out, and I'm like, I have a feeling she is going to recover, but oh my God, it's so awful.
It is awful, and it looks like she stabbed her pretty deep. And previews for next week's show that the waif is kind of chasing her down. And let's think about this. She's wounded. We all know that the waif is better, right? Because she's been at the House of Black for a longer time. She has the power of changing faces, and Arya doesn't really have that because she left them. So if Arya wins, how is this going to happen? Now, in last week's episode, when we saw Arya hiding in this cave that's all black at the end, people thought that they were going to fight in the dark. So do you still think that could happen in this episode, that Arya has to kind of come up with this plan to make her fight in the dark?
I don't know. I mean, I thought if that would happen, it would happen this week, which it didn't. And with her being injured, I don't know. I mean, I guess it could happen. I'm not going to, like, totally disregard it, but I don't think it will. I think they're just going to have another battle, and Arya's going to outsmart her somehow.
Yeah, because it has to make sense that she wins, though. Like, it can't just be like she wounds her with a weapon, because she's injured and the waif is a better fighter than her. So she has to win some other way. She has to use maybe some help, or I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It has to make sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I'm just still kind of, like, shocked by the fact that she got stabbed like that. It reminded me of the Red Wedding. I was like, no.
I know. Like, are they going to shock us by killing Arya in this episode?
Oh, man, the outrage. I mean, the outrage if we ended it right after she got stabbed and we didn't see her climbing out of the water. Like,
yeah.
I think we would have just spent, like, the past half hour just talking about it.
I know, but thank goodness. So she still lives, so she has a fighting chance. I think her chances are really slim right now because, as we discussed, she's in a bad position right now. And I think we can get into some segments, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start with the Reek of the Week. Our Reek of the Week is somebody we pick every week, named after the Reek himself, clearly. And it's somebody that we just kind of thought kind of sucked this episode, somebody we disagree with, somebody that we're disappointed in. And yeah, I'll go ahead first. I think my Reek of the Week is the foolish House Glover, Lord Glover, because, you know, they're very upset. They're taking things personal. I feel like Robb Stark couldn't be everywhere all at the same time. He had to be somewhere fighting a battle. I mean, and he couldn't go over to your house and protect you all when he was fighting another battle. I think that was a very stupid and foolish decision. And they'll probably die now in this battle that's going to come at Battle of Winterfell. I think it was foolish. He needs to put the past behind him and think of the greater good. Think of the people that you're protecting now in your castle who you would want to live, you know, and you don't want the Boltons to be coming up in there and flaying people. That's going to be a bad one for you. So House Glover is my Reek of the Week. And you, Gabby?
Yeah, that's a good one. Mine is Jaime Lannister because, again, you know, I think this is like his motivations are just all based on of what Cersei wants. And
I know.
I think, you know, we have seen him be a different person, act differently in the past, and I really hope, like, so he annoyed me this episode, and I think, you know, with Blackfish, and he made a great point to him, and I hope, you know, next week he changes it. Brienne kind of reminds him of what's important, like really important, not Cersei important.
Let's cross our fingers.
Yeah, really.
And next we have our Lord/Lady Commander of this episode. And this is somebody we picked, somebody we thought was just generally awesome, somebody who was the MVP, somebody who owned it this episode. And I think we can agree when we say there's quite a few characters in this episode that were commanding it and were awesome. And I had to narrow it down, though, so I'm going to pick Mont of Bear Island because she's 10 years old and running that shit. She's a boss. I love that she she, even though we know Jon and Sansa are doing this for a good reason, she still questions them because it's true what she said, that she still has to think of the people that she's protecting, and why should she get involved in a war that doesn't really involve her. I like that she stood her ground, but I also like that she took Davos's advice, and she was like, "Oh, is this true?" Like about the whole the dead coming. Like she's the only one who, oh my god, the 10-year-old decided the wise choice over House Clover. Even though she didn't like the idea, she didn't like the idea at first. She's thinking about the greater good at 10 years old. She knows that they have to combine forces and protect themselves so that they can fight the bigger battle that's going to come after the Battle of Winterfell. So Lady Mormont is kick-ass, and she is my lady commander of this episode.
Great pick. Yeah, I was gonna pick the same person, but I'm gonna pick someone different, just to change it up. And my lady commander is Olenna, because
yes,
she totally smacked down Cersei, and that's awesome and great and deserved. But I love that she is going home because she trusts her granddaughter to get this shit done. Which, you know, a lot of characters like to undermine their children or undermine the other characters. Like, they don't trust them to do what they want them to do. And once she got that note from Marjorie, she's like, okay, I know she has a plan. I trust her. I'm going home. And I was like, yeah, I just like that.
Yes.
So yeah, Olenna's my lady commander of the week, and then of course Lady Mormont. That little girl gotta keep kicking ass. I love her.
I know. It really is a Dame of Thrones, because she was gonna be like my other lady commander pick, and if I was gonna pick a Lord Commander, I would have picked Blackfish Tully, because he was awesome to this episode, standing his ground against Jaime Lannister. Okay, and our next segment is the Swing the Sword. Now, in this segment, we have picked our name for our metaphorical swords, and we're going to use them to swing it at the characters we wish to die, characters we just are sick of, and we want to see them. We want to see them die. We get very bloodthirsty in this segment. So, my sword's name is Dawn. I'm going to swing Dawn at the waif, because I'm sick of her. And she was always very malicious to Arya, even when she was trying to train her in the House of Black and White. And she's very arrogant. She's not following what Jaqen said to not let her suffer. She stabbed her in the gut. She's letting her suffer, trying to kill her. And I really hope we see her die next episode. Jesus, for this No One Bowl. Please don't let Arya die. I want the waif to die. I want to see her ass get kicked so bad by Arya, in some way or another. So she is my swing the sword. I'm gonna swing Dawn at her. How about you guys?
I will be joining you and swinging my sword, Jeremiah, at the waif, because I think we wanted her dead before, but we definitely want her dead now. I mean, this little girl or person, I don't even know. No one. It's like, totally, like, I can't, and yeah, she said don't let her suffer. So if you weren't going to let her suffer, you're in a position to slit her throat and kill her like that. But no, you stab her in the gut, which is usually like a slow death. So, what a bitch. No. She deserves to swing the sword. I mean, we didn't have Ramsay in this episode. We didn't really have any of the, well, those 3 horse dudes that came in and slaughtered those whole people. They suck too. Yeah. But the waif hit us here. Yeah. So no.
Can't be harming a Stark and not hit it right here for me, because I love them. I do.
Yeah.
All right, and our next segment is our green side segment, and this is where we kind of try to predict what's going to happen the next episode, or maybe down the line of the season. We try to come up with some theories, and yeah. Do you have any theories, Gabby?
I don't know. I mean, they didn't really play with a lot of the mythology and stuff here. It was just kind of like assessing the situation in each place. But I think things are definitely going to go badly for Cersei next week. To what degree, I don't know. But I just have a feeling that her arrogance and confidence are gonna, strike against her.
For sure. And I'm going to be optimistic for once and think that Arya's going to come up with some kind of plan to kill the waif. So hopefully that happens next episode. And I think maybe Jaime Lannister might be still kind of the one that we don't like, kind of be a jerk to Brienne and stick up for his love for his sister. I think that could happen. So we're gonna hate him some more before we like him again.
Right. If we ever do like him again. But yeah, I mean the previews definitely suggest that for next week that he's arguing with Brienne about, that he'll always love Cersei and he'll do anything. I'm like, oh Jesus, just like you're digging your own grave, man. But yeah, but I'm really excited to see. I hope Brienne somehow changes his mind or makes him realize, like, take a step back and, don't think about Cersei for once. Think about yourself and what matters to you. So I don't know. I am, but I mean, God, there's only like 3 more episodes left. Like,
what?
Where has the season gone?
Oh my God.
Around 7, yeah.
Okay, so now that you say that, okay, there's only 3 more episodes left. Maybe, okay, also I think perhaps because people are getting by in Westeros in the East like this, so maybe Yara and Theon get to Meereen. Maybe we'll see them and Daenerys have a conversation. So I'm gonna guess that as my green site. Maybe that'll happen.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Hound will reach Arya by the time.
Maybe.
I mean, like, they got like teleportation in Westeros. Who knows?
I know. Apparently.
But I definitely think the next 3 episodes should have a lot of big stuff coming at us. And I mean, because the series is ending. There's only like 2 more seasons after this, right?
Yeah.
So, it's coming to a close. And I'm sad that it is, but I'm really excited, I want to see what happens.
I know, it's bittersweet because I love the series so much. Like, I love seeing what's going to happen, but I also want to know how in the world can they possibly end this at the same time?
Right, exactly. It just seems like so overwhelming right now to like end it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we just don't know. So, well, we'll see.
We'll see. And yeah, so let us know your theories and your comments on the episode and drop us some comments. Let us know your theories and any tips. You can follow us on TYF Official. We always live tweet the show. Follow Gabby and me on Twitter and like us on Facebook, all that good stuff. Thanks so much for joining us for episode 7, The Broken Man. Join us next week. We're going to do this all over again. And hopefully we get a No One Bowl and some salty people up in the East and the downfall of Cersei and Brienne and Jaime coming together. Let's see.
And we finally find out Jon Snow's parents.
Yes! Oh my God! Let's finish the Tower of Joy vision.
Of Joy vision. Come on, next week. Let's make it happen.
Let's do this.
Alrighty.
Next week. We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.